Warning: the Chaotic Culture Podcast is a program for mature audiences. The language and content presented in this podcast is of a mature nature that some audiences may not find suitable. Viewer and listener discretion is advised. Before we begin, we would like to dedicate this episode to a brother, friend, and fellow musician, Branford Shaw, who attended Hampton University with us and tragically lost his life at the age of 28 to cancer. Rest in peace, Branford. We love you, we miss you, and may you continue to be a guiding light towards us all. Thank you.
Embrace the culture, blaze the doja, grab your loved ones and bring them closer. Extra, extra, read the poster, the KKP is taking over. Sleeping on me, better smell the Folgers. I've been razor sharp since the Motorola. Off for O, like the cover of Oprah. Popping bottles, feet all in the sofa. It's a celebration, though the times is hard. It's raining blessings, give it up to God. Chaotic culture, the greatest pod. With Ked the Pro, the one in charge. But it's a celebration, times is hard. It's raining blessings, give it up to God. Chaotic culture, the greatest pod. With Ked the Pro, the one in charge.
We're living in a chaotic culture. 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 Oh, we're living in a chaotic culture. 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 Oh, we're living in a chaotic culture. 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 Oh, we're living in a chaotic culture. We're living in a chaotic culture. We're living in a chaotic culture. We're living in a chaotic culture.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of the Chaotic Culture Podcast, the pod where chaos rules and black culture is elevated and embraced. This podcast will deep dive into modern black culture and how millennials and Gen Z can navigate the crazy parts from finances, music, black business highlights, home ownership, HBCUs, sports, black nerddom, anime, wrestling. If it encompasses black culture, we are going to cover it. Live from the 757, I am the host and the creator of the Chaotic Culture Podcast, your boy Ked the Pro, aka the Calculator Millennial, the Cutlass Diamond, aka don't be pushing on my buttons in my cutlass unless you cutting, aka your favorite toxic adjacent king, Chaotic Ked, Ked the Closer, Ked the Poet, all of that. The 843 is me, but VA is where I currently stay. Always chaotic, never toxic on most days. Back again, once again, with your favorite black culture highlights and black culture shenanigans. With me, of course, is a couple members of the crew here. I don't have everybody today. Chinasa could not be here with us today, so shout outs to her. I hope that she's doing well and hope that she's working on some new stuff for us. And we'll catch her next time. Johnny is going to be popping in late. So shout out to him. Of course, I'll let him do a quick introduction whenever he gets in, if he gets in. But in the meantime, I am going to introduce the second lady who ever joined us for this pod, Miss Sappy Soa. Please, Sappy, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Well, hello, everybody. Welcome back. This is your girl, Sappy. No AKAs or hey. But, we're going to have a great conversation today. And I'm excited because y'all, what I heard, if you haven't heard it already, you're lacking.
Say that. Joining us also as well is, of course, the first mate of the pod, Law. He's going to be listening in and just enjoying the vibes. But, Law, please go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yo, what's going on, family? Back again another morning. No long introduction today, but we're gonna get straight to it. It's super exciting guest appearance here today, so stay tuned and we're gonna get into it.
Absolutely, y'all are 100% on the ball. So while we wait for our other co-hosts to get in, we're going to go ahead and introduce our guest. Now, it's been a while since we've had a music artist on our podcast, but that's kind of how our podcast started, was interviewing music artists that we knew. And it's only fair that we get back to the roots that made this podcast great. So with that, I want to introduce a very special somebody. Now, I've known this person for, I'm trying to do the math in my head, but let's just say that it's been a long time. And she was about 7 or 8 when I met her. I was 9 or 10. Maybe 11, pushing it. But either way, I've always known that she was a talented individual, and I always knew that she could sing. little did I know just how well she could sing and how much talent she really had. And we're definitely going to be here and talk about her EP today. With that being said, of course, we both grew up in Charleston, South Carolina. I believe you are in what, North Carolina now, outside of Charlotte somewhere?
Yeah, I'm in like the Fort Mill area.
Okay. So still roughly in South Carolina, but
Yeah.
either way, still, it is my absolute pleasure to introduce to all of you Miss ALAINA, and I just can't shake how excited I am to have her on this pod. So ALAINA, please welcome to the pod and introduce yourself to the folks who do not know about you.
Oh, wow. Hey, everyone. Thank you for having me. I'm so glad to be a part of this podcast today. My name is ALAINA. I was born and raised in Charleston, South Carolina. Like they just said, we known each other, I'm going to just say since we were, preschool, honestly. In my opinion, that's how long I've known you. So I'm glad that everything's come full circle now and that we both stay true to our musical roots and doing things that we love and are passionate about. And I just dropped an EP on October 12th. It was a long time coming. So if you haven't heard it, it's available on every streaming platform. You can follow me on Instagram at alaina.__. That's 2 underscores. And you can let me know what you think about it. What's your favorite song? I'd love to hear it. So thank you guys.
Well, thank you for joining us. And now that you mention it, I'd say 7 or 8, but then I'm looking back, I'm like, actually, it probably was longer. Good Lord.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm definitely glad to have you aboard this podcast. So before we get into the actual interview, there are just a couple things that we want to mention real quick. Kind of a somber moment, but we just recently had a brother of ours pass away. And I definitely wanted to at least mention him. He was also a very talented musician, a very humble person, and someone who always brought positive vibes and love everywhere that he went. So to my brother, Branford Shaw, definitely we love you. We're praying for the family and friends. And it's really kind of hard to even talk about this right now because it just, for me, it came out of nowhere. But I definitely want to say rest in peace to my brother, man. We've had plenty of memories shared together with him when he first came to Hampton University, and to see somebody gone at so young an age to such a debilitating disease, it's sad, to say the least. So I definitely just want to mention that, and just know that this episode is dedicated to him for all the love that he shared and his love of music. So rest in peace, Branford. We miss you, bro. We love you, and hopefully we'll see you again. With that, I just want to make sure that everybody's mental health is okay. So I'm actually going to start with ALAINA. How has your mental health been lately?
Mine has been, I don't know, like I said earlier, I've been on a high, just meditating a lot, praying a lot. My family's been very supportive. And there were times where my anxiety got the best of me, but I kept pushing through. So I'm good now. Just got to stay prayed up for sure. Yeah.
100%. You're absolutely right. Speak it into existence and keep praying. That's all that anybody can ask. Sappy, how has your mental health been?
Coming off of this weekend, it's been pretty okay. It hasn't been easy, especially with the news that we got. I had a bunch of sad moments today, you know, especially being able to see everybody and then being unable to see certain people. It just kind of puts life into perspective. But as you guys can tell, I also lost my voice. So that shows how much of a good time I had. But I would definitely say being around friends and people I call family, like, it was definitely refreshing, and it was a good reset, I would say. I'm telling y'all, these hugs was soothing, seeing everybody.
you ain't lying. I'm glad I got to see so many people this past week. It's especially because with the pandemic happening, we didn't have homecoming in 2020, and then 2021 was like very, very limited. So I'm just glad that I got a chance to see a lot of people. I didn't get a chance to see everybody, as you said, Sappy, and it kind of puts things into perspective because with this happening, you're like, wow, man, now we definitely just cannot take life for granted. So hopefully next homecoming we'll get a chance to see more people that we love and cherish, God willing. Um, for me, other than this incident, it's actually been pretty good. I can't complain. I've been again working out consistently, trying to uh put some muscle on and try to stay physically healthy. And overall, just been taking it one day at a time. And honestly, that's all anybody can ask for. I've enjoyed this weekend so much. Got a chance to see a couple of my LBs and Sticky that I hadn't seen in a while, at least not at homecoming. And the fellowship and the vibe was just overall fantastic. So definitely had a good week. And that kind of boils into our quick homecoming recap. It's obviously Hampton's homecoming was just this past week. If you hadn't been paying attention, a lot of HBCUs had their homecoming, so there's that. We lost the homecoming game because Hampton played Richmond, and for those who know, we're in the Colonial Athletic Association, and
We lost terribly, absolutely
terribly, which is sad because you're not supposed to lose a homecoming game. You're supposed to play the easy opponents for homecoming, and yet we choose a team that has won the conference multiple times. So I don't know what to say about that other than we weren't there for the football game. We were there to enjoy band vibes.
I know what to say. Are you not embarrassed? Are you not embarrassed? Like, come on. I mean, you're supposed to.
I mean, I'm certainly embarrassed for him, but either way, that's not what I was here for. I was here to enjoy the band and the vibes of seeing band alumni come back and getting a chance to play in the tunnel, and also just seeing people that I hadn't seen in a while. So I'll take it for what it is. I pretty much was lit all day on Friday, like all day. And I will say the one downside to homecoming was I went to one of the day parties. I didn't go to the one that everybody went to at Strawberry Banks. I was trying to, but time just got away from us and then traffic started to get bad. So I went to No Chaser that was in Hampton. And yeah, that try not to cuss, but that shit was whack. I'm just gonna keep it a buck. That shit was whack.
I went to the one at Strawberry Banks. It was pretty good, but we did kind of go pretty late. And they gave us like the drink vouchers, but by the time we got there was no drinks. So this random lady gave us like a cup of wine. She was like, "This is all I got for you, baby." It kind of reminded me of like when we used to be in the cast. They were like, "Baby, you need anything?" So we got to enjoy wine, I guess. So
right,
but overall,
right.
Yeah, we brought our own, so we had a good time regardless.
Oh yeah, and I definitely, I was hurt after Saturday because obviously a lot of us haven't marched in a few years, and hopping back on a bass drum. Now, mind you, because I've been working out, the bass drum wasn't that heavy. But I was wearing I wasn't wearing the bass drum harness. I was wearing a strap. And granted, bass drum is not the instrument that I played when I was in Hampton's band, but because I know most of the parts, I was like, yo, I'm gonna just hop on bass and just have a good time. But we actually got a chance to do the sticky block for the first time in years. They allowed the young bulls to play with the alumni, and I was like, wow, we haven't done this in a minute. So we were just like, what do we play? What do we play? And they finally let us. They played 3 or 4 cadences, which I think that's all that was needed for real, at least for this time period until we can actually get a practice going. But overall, I enjoyed my homecoming.
Same. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was needed.
Yep, very much so. Very much so. With that, let's ask if there are any new projects that we're working on at this moment. Sabby, do you have any new projects that you got going on?
Personally, no, but I do have like a couple gifts that I promised some folks that are coming. So I'm testing my talents this time, and I'm trying something new, and hopefully it does come out cool. If it does, then y'all can see it on my social media. If it doesn't, then you know it didn't come out well.
Well, you ain't gotta say nothing else. I hear you 100%. Outside of music, ALAINA, are there any new projects that you're working on personally, professionally?
Not personally, or professionally. I am getting ready to go to Afrotech though, so that's gonna be real fun.
Ooh, when is that?
That's November 13th through the 18th. So that's gonna be real fun. It's in Austin, Texas. But yeah, besides that, that's all I got going on outside of music.
Okay, that is what's up. I will be traveling to Austin, but it'll be next July, and that's gonna be for DreamCon again. But that'll be my first time going to Austin. There's so much stuff happening in Austin. I gotta pay attention. Obviously I can't go to Afrotech because I gotta work and gotta save up for Thanksgiving, but that sounds really dope. And I definitely hope that you have a good time. Do you know what Afrotech like encompasses as an event?
Yeah, so I think this year they're big on like Web3 and crypto. I know there's going to be a lot of music execs out there, so that's why I'm going. Um, to get more, it's just to network and make more connections. But you know, Black folks, when we get together, it's a big party. So
You ain't lying. You ain't lying. So it's kind of similar to like South by Southwest, or is it smaller in a sense, or is it larger?
I think this will be my first time going, so I don't know how large it's going to be on a scale to that, but I've seen a lot of people in the tech world talking about it, so I assume it's going to be a lot of people.
Dope, dope, dope. Well, I hope that you definitely have fun. Definitely keep me posted on how that goes for you, because I definitely want to hear more about it, because I might be interested in going one year. So,
Oh, for sure.
hey, yes, ma'am. So with that, I think we've covered all of the little stuff here. So let's get right into this interview here. We definitely want to know more about ALAINA and her music. So for those, again, who have not checked out the EP, please be sure that you check it out. I've gone to Spotify, so it's on your favorite DSPs. So the EP, of course, is called For All We Know, and I have a question about that later, but let's go ahead and start, ALAINA. First and foremost, just a life update, because again, I've known you for such a long time, and yet there are times where, you know, we lost communication because people grow older and whatnot, and they do their own thing. I think the last time I saw you was high school, or you were still in high school, and I was already off to college. But if you could just give a little details about what's been going on in your life in general, it doesn't have to be a whole lot or anything, but just let us know, how your life has molded you to be the person that you are today.
Yeah, of course. So as you know, I moved to Charlotte, well, the Charlotte area. I did that in like 2017. I also started a nonprofit for women with infertility issues called Fighting for Fertility. And then, oh my God, so much has happened. I lost, when COVID struck, I lost my cousin, my first cousin, my aunt, and my dad, all back to back.
Gosh.
So that hit me pretty hard. And I was in I should have been doing mental checks then, because I was really sad, and I just didn't understand like how COVID could just take people out, and like they were good, and then like 2 weeks later they were just not here. So that was a really sad moment, but it's also what motivated me to do my music, because my dad always wanted me to sing. He was a singer, he was a musician, and I made a promise to him that I was going to start pursuing music. And he was actually supposed to come with me to the studio when I was recording the EP. And so while I was recording that, I was really sad as well. So yeah, like all of that just led up to this, just coming out of my shell and pushing myself, because I don't know, life didn't make sense to me if I didn't pursue music. And I'm in the tech field as well. And that just it wasn't enough for me. Like I wasn't satisfied with it, never satisfied with the job, hating my bosses and all of that. So I was like, okay, everything's pointing to music. Let's just do this. Stop being shy and just put it out there and see what happens. So yeah, in a nutshell.
Hey, that is really, really dope. I do remember your dad, and I do remember how big of a musician he was. And I remember when you posted about his passing, and I was like, wow, that is crazy. So definitely, again, my condolences to you. But I've seen just how much of an influence that he had on you, and then to see that flow through your music, that speaks a lot of his influence. And I hope that you carry that with you as you begin this journey for real. Like that is really inspiring. Kind of goes into the next question, actually, or next couple of questions. For those who don't know, obviously you've been singing for a while, but like, how did you really get started singing? Like what was pushing you to get started with the singing? You can go all the way back to when you were a kid, or whatever you see fit.
So here's the thing. I haven't always been singing, especially not in front of crowds or other people.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of put it on the shelf for a while. Like once I got to high school, I was just like, I don't sing well enough to pursue music. There's people who could blow the house down. They should be the ones singing, not me. I feel like my voice is very light, and I was kind of getting in my head. And so I kind of put it on the shelf. And like I said, with my dad passing, that's when I was like, okay, I have to fulfill my promise. I have to do what I said I was going to do to fulfill me, to fulfill that. So yeah, it's been a long time coming. At first I felt like I wasn't ready to make an EP, because, not saying that I wasn't singing, because I'm always singing, like in my room, in the shower, me and my friends are always singing, but to actually go into the studio and lay a track down is totally different. Like that Red Light Fever came on and I was like, oh no, I can't do this. And my friends were there and was like, yeah, because the song For All We Know, I wrote that song about my mom and dad's divorce. So that really, I don't know, it was just I was hoping everyone didn't hear the pain and like the nervousness inside of the EP. Hold on, I'm sorry, I'm getting choked up, but I'm like talking in circles.
Hey, it's okay. It is okay.
It is very much okay. If music doesn't bring out emotions, then what is it?
Exactly.
Exactly. But yeah, so he's the one that motivated me. He always, every time he saw me, every time I came home, did you record a song yet? Did you do this yet? Did you hit up so-and-so? He said he'd get you some studio time. Did you do this? And I'd be like, no, I'm working on this, or I'm working on that. And so, yeah, it was really his death that pushed me to start taking it serious.
Okay. That actually answers one of my other questions. So I'm just going to eliminate that one from the books. But I did want to ask, is there anything else that inspired you to sing?
Just knowing how many people around me are so talented, and they don't let they don't put themselves out there because they're so shy and in their heads and scared of what other people will think, or scared that people will laugh at them. So I have plenty of friends who know how to sing, who can play drums, piano, guitar, and they don't do anything with the talent. So that pushed me as well to be like, guys, if I can do it, y'all can do it too. And we can all be amazing. We can all grow together. Like, and I did inspire them. Like 2 of my friends started working on music because of that. And they were so inspired by what I did. So, yeah.
Hey, that is what's up. And just so you're aware, I'm pretty sure that you could kind of tell between our previous conversation when you were in here, but all of us in here are percussionists or at least musicians of some form or fashion. Um, I marched in the drum line at goodness at Fort Dorchester all the way to Hampton University, and obviously Law and Sappy were a part of the drum line at Hampton as well. So getting a chance to actually express yourself through music and actually being an inspiration, that's definitely something that I admire. And it definitely pushes me, especially being around musicians all the time, it pushes me just to continue practicing and making sure that my chops are still there and that I don't lose any of that when I play. And then, I don't consider myself like the best drummer of any kind, but just hearing that from you is just inspiring again. Like, man, this is why we love music and this is why we continue to do what we do. So I definitely appreciate your answer there. That really is that's really inspiring. uh I gotta ask about the EP itself. So the EP, for those who don't know, again, is called For All We Know. And of course, there's 3 tracks on there. And I kind of told Elena this when the EP first dropped. I was like, I wish there was more. Like, I'm so upset that there's not more because that felt like just a tease, but it was that good. So, again, definitely check it out for those who have not already. But I did want to ask, what was the creative idea behind For All We Know?
Oh yeah, so For All We Know, like I said, the song was about my mom and dad's divorce, and just seeing them trying to make it work all the time. And we go through that in our relationships as well. Like, we're stuck in a situation, it's not working, but the love is still there, but it's just not going to work. And so that song was about, kind of like letting go and really like making love for the last time and being like, yeah, let's just go our separate ways. That's done. And also, it's kind of like an ode to Donny Hathaway because of his, yeah, For All We Know. Yeah. Yeah, it's
Spitting.
one of my dad's favorite singers. So yeah, that's why I titled it that. Mhm.
He's my favorite too.
Yes, we
I
gotta
love
love
him
Hathaway.
and his daughter.
Yes, and Layla.
Yes. Ooh, Layla's.
Right.
Absolute. But I was getting ready to ask, I'm like, were you aware of that it was an ode to that song? But you clearly knew, because I was thinking, yo, some of the lyrics are the same. Let me ask her about this. But yeah, that you right there, that definitely hit me right there. I definitely appreciate that answer. Cool, cool. Um, was there any other like inspiration from other sources as well, other than that situation, or was that literally like your main driving source to create the EP?
No, Kelly Price was also a big inspiration too. And even though I don't have a Kelly Price voice, that's the feel I kind of wanted to give For All We Know, especially within the chorus. I kind of wanted like 90s R&B to kind of meet like modern R&B.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that and I think it translated well because everyone says, "Oh yeah, you took us back to the '90s with this track," and also with Circle Back as well. Like, I don't know, I just want to pull from a different era because I feel like everyone, well, not everyone, but most of the stuff we hear mainstream sounds the same to me.
Go
So
ahead and say everyone, because that is the truth.
yeah, so I wanted to pull from a different era and just give a different feeling. I miss like actually feeling emotion when I listen to songs and like going through breakups and just singing my heart out. So I wanted that to be translated and it did. And I'm so happy that everybody likes it and is able to pick up on the things that I did, especially the Donny Hathaway. And my mom was worried about that. She was like, "You think he's gonna come after you?" I was like, he's not gonna. I was like, I didn't take his song word for word. Now I just said,
And he's
for
dead,
all
so
we know,
it wouldn't.
tomorrow may never come. So that's
Well, yeah, on top of that, the song, even before Donny Hathaway and Roberta Flack did the song, it's been performed, at least that version of the song has been
so
performed
many.
multiple times with multiple covers. So I
Yeah,
mean, Billie Holiday did a cover, Nat King Cole did a cover. So I don't think that Donny Hathaway's estate will come after you at any point in time for that.
Right. Well, thank you. That'll rest her nerves.
Right. So definitely shout out to you for crafting the EP the way that you did, because as you said, it definitely invoked the feeling of 90s R&B meets modern. And as we've talked about before, that R&B, at least the state of mainstream R&B, feels like it's like the same, the whisper, what we call the whisper tones, the
The italic singers.
yes. Absolutely. Yes. We've the italic singers. What else did we say? We said I don't mean to poke fun at SZA, but we said the scoit singers. And I love SZA, but I had to throw that out there. Definitely had a nostalgic feeling to it, especially when I heard the first song. I was like, she's definitely the way that she structured her verse. It sounds like this is something straight out the 90s. Like, wow, okay, can I get more of this, please? So
right. Thank you. People were like, oh, this sounds like Aaliyah. Oh, the second verse sounds like something Brandy would write. So I was like, look, I loved all the 90s singers it was being compared to. So I was like, okay, I did my job.
You absolutely did. Yes, you absolutely did that. So we definitely appreciate you for doing that. I also noticed, like, listening to some of the lyrics, I'm like, there is, yeah, of course, when we talk about making love and, being with partners and going through breakups and things like that, sex is going to be involved. But the fact that you did not make it like super explicit on top of that was really, I appreciate that, just because we don't get a lot of that anymore. It's like it's all the way out in the open. People aren't discreet about it anymore in their songs. They just come out in the open and say, oh, I'm trying to fuck, what's good, excuse my language.
Yeah that's exactly what happens. And my mom, she was like, can you, because I had one more song on there, but it was very modern. It didn't mesh with the other songs. And I was like, well, I need something that, the young girls are going to, want to ride to or whatever. And it was all like, yeah, fuck the nigga, you broke my heart. And I was like, oh no, that's not me. I'm not even going to put that on there. It doesn't match. And I do want to bring that back, like the music that didn't have such explicit lyrics when it came to R&B. We definitely got to bring that back, because I see too much of that now as well. Like, everything is just take his money. Yeah.
Yes.
Take his money, tricking and all this other stuff. Yeah, let's get back to the basics.
Bring back love songs, bring back bridges and vamps and keychains on songs. I'm all for that.
I literally said this yesterday. Bring back the vamps. I need the vamps. I literally said that yesterday. That's crazy.
Absolutely.
Hey, that's why great minds think alike. Were you surprised at the reaction that you got, ALAINA, from dropping this EP?
I was so surprised. Like, right now I'm almost at like 6K views on YouTube for All We Know, and like the other songs are over 2K, and I'm just like, I did not expect all of this. Like, I was happy if 200 people listened. And so when I saw those numbers, I was just so grateful. And I saw everybody tagging me and people knowing the lyrics already. And like, I broke down and cried like a few times, because I was not expecting that at all.
Hey, that really is just a testament to how wonderful this EP was. Despite it being quick, it was really pleasing to the ears. And when something is really good, it's going to travel. So that just shows how much work that you put into it. Despite it only being 3 songs, you really put your heart and soul into that. So I'm definitely going to continue giving you your flowers as this interview goes along. So yes, ma'am. What feelings did you wish to invoke with this EP?
I wish to invoke happiness. I wanted you to feel like, I don't know, it's like kind of, especially with Circle Back, like to me, that's a nighttime song. You about to pull up on your bay, y'all get in the car. Like the feel was kind of like date night vibes for that. Like I wanted you to be able to just put on this EP, like whether you're at a lounge or I wanted you to feel grown and sexy, you know? Like that's every feeling that comes with that. That's what I wish to evoke in people. And I think I did that because it's been playing in a few lounges and men and women have loved it. So especially my target audience was like the 25 and up crowd, and definitely even like 60-year-olds and stuff were coming up and being like, yeah, me and my wife love your EP. We played it out. So I don't know, like I'm speechless when it comes to how well everyone loves it. But yeah, just that happiness, that feeling, that throwback feeling, nostalgia, and just, I don't know, getting in the mood. Like,
Hey, I definitely appreciate the answer here. I definitely Circle Back is definitely is one of them songs. I'm like, I was thinking like I don't want to be explicit. I'm like, do I want to add it to this playlist? Because it's like that. But I'm chilling for right now. I ain't gonna get into all of that. But once again, just know that I definitely appreciate all that you've done for this actual EP. What inspired the cover art? Where'd you get the inspiration for that from?
Honestly, what happened was it was supposed to look completely different. We had like everything was going to be all red. I was supposed to have red on, a red backdrop, and what we ordered did not get here on time, and then the backup stuff that we ordered looked a hot mess. And so my sister was the photographer, and so she was like, listen, let's just get on this white wall. If you got something white on, do that. And I was like, but I still want red in it. And so we went and bought a fake rose and I put my hair up in a ponytail, and I was like, all right, just take the pictures. And it came out great. And I wanted the cover to look like I designed the cover myself. So I wanted it to look like, if you looked at the cover, like you didn't know what it was going to bring. Like you didn't know whether it was going to be, well, you knew it might have been R&B, but I don't know. It just makes you want to click on it. So I like tilted the picture around, put the lyrics on top of it, and put the CD cover on it. So it takes you back to like the early 2000s. And I don't know, that was the inspiration behind that. Like it came all at a whim because nothing worked out in the beginning. So, but I'm happy with the cover.
Okay. It sounds like the way that this was crafted was very purposeful, even if things didn't work out in the beginning. It seems like you found a way to at least still make it work and make it still look good. So I think if it works, it works, and in this case it did. So yes ma'am, I'm definitely feeling that. The fake rose, I thought that was a real rose at first, but that put a smile on my face, like, oh, it's a fake one. Oh, okay. Well, wouldn't have never known if you didn't tell me.
We really threw it together, so I was surprised at everything. And then the girl who was supposed to do the design, to design it, do the graphic design, she got sick. And then I was like, I need this immediately. So I just had to come up with something weird.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Sappy, did you have any comments, concerns, anything you wanted to ask real quick before I go on to the next couple of questions?
No, you can go ahead. I just love the dialogue right now.
Okay. Say less. So a couple more questions here before we get into some hot seat questions. First off, do you see being an R&B artist as the long-term goal?
That's a great question. Um, Now I will say I love R&B, but I also jazz is my first love.
Ooh,
And
come on now.
as I mature into my 30s, and I would love to have a band and be a jazz artist. Like I definitely would love to grow into that, but also do R&B as well. But yeah, and that's actually coming to life on someone else's project, but you have to stay tuned for that.
Oh, uh-oh. She said she ready to drop something else. Okay.
Did somebody say more music? More
Yes.
music?
More music, yes. Yes, I'm working on another project. Another EP is going to be longer, but with the live band I was talking about, this is for my friend's project, and he's doing a poetry album. So yeah, it's I can't even explain to you what's going on, not just yet. I don't think he wants me telling anybody about it just yet, but it's going to be amazing.
I'm all for it. Jazz or poetry album, I'm definitely all for it. Y'all know, thanks to my parents, I've have a very high appreciation for jazz. Played in jazz band when I was in high school. So that actually reminds me, I'm gonna have a comment off the podcast for that. But one of my favorite lullabies that used to put me to sleep was a jazz song that used to play late night on, before it was Magic 107.3, it was Magic 101.7, and it used to come on like super late night. And then it also came on what was that jazz station before Star took over in Charleston? I can't even remember it, but either way, I'll tell you about it after this episode. But I'm glad to hear that we are getting some more music, because I was getting ready to ask you, okay, 3 songs is a tease. I need another EP. I need an album. I'm ready for it.
Oh, yes, for sure. Music is already coming. I already have the songs written. We just got to get in the studio and make it happen. And that's funny because the EP was going to be shorter than that, in a sense where it was just going to be basically 3 interludes, like 1-minute songs. Because I was so nervous of putting it out. Like, I'm like, I'm going to just cut the songs really short, see how people feel about my voice. But I was like, I'm just going to go all the way. Forget it.
I'm glad you didn't Summer Walker us, girl.
I'm
No. That was too good. The 1 minute wouldn't have done it justice.
Oh, thank y'all.
Not a problem. We are certainly glad that you decided to give us what you did. Because yeah, as she said, the 1 minute, it wouldn't have done you justice at all. Just the way that your songs were crafted and the way that you've crafted your voice so far. Again, it was a tease, but it still was enough to want me asking for more. Like, okay, I need to hear more of what you got planned. So I'm definitely looking forward to anything that you got going on. So I definitely keep me in the loop now, because we have each other's numbers again. So definitely let me know what you got going on in the future, and then I'll continue to bring you back on this platform, because we appreciate our artists here. And that's why I wish Tanasa was here, man. She would have definitely loved this conversation. Definitely got to have you on an episode with Nasa here with us. So, because she's a singer too, and I'll definitely make sure that you have her projects that she's worked on, and she's gonna drop some music on us as well. So I definitely want to make sure that we all make that connection with each other, because this is what it's all about.
For sure. I'm big on connections. Like we have to lift each other up on it. Like, there's so many people who, they get traction and they don't want to do no collabs, don't want to network with people, thinking they're too good now. So, but no, I feel like if I'm not rich until everybody around me rich, like I'm not on until you're on,
And that's the attitude that I want to have with everybody that I work with. I'm like, man, look, y'all can say what y'all want, but I ain't on until y'all get on. I want to make sure that I uplift everybody in my circle. So definitely shout out to you for that. I'm gonna do something a little different. ALAINA, do you have any questions for us?
Oh, Oh, let me think about this one. On. Now, all of y'all are into music.
Mm-hmm.
So let me say this. If I was to do an album, would y'all be willing to collab on that project?
You ain't even got to ask me twice. The answer is yes. I
Listen,
definitely
you know I
got
got a little
some.
vocals, so if you need a little background singer, I got you, girl.
Background vocals, just writers, anything. Like, yeah, I want everybody to be involved. Like,
oh, definitely.
Oh, absolutely. Look,
we are a consortium of musicians who are always helping each other out. So that's a definite.
And then if you remember also, Alaina, I was very big on public speaking. And so if you need somebody to come out here and either do a skit or do a spoken word for you, that's something that I can definitely contribute as well. I can do the background vocals as well because I can hold a tune, but whatever you need me to do, all you got to do is just ask, and I will definitely be willing to work with you. We here for the collaborations.
That is good to hear. I'm gonna hold y'all to it.
Hey.
If we go get something done. Yeah, you definitely have a great narrating voice.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Hey, look, years of my mom drilling it into my head and being on stage in front of everybody and saying I have a dream in front of the church, or being at Wallace Christian Academy and having Miss Wallace give me Bible verses to say out loud in front of everybody. That I've been doing this for a long time, so I guess it's about time I start using it again.
Absolutely. If you don't use it, you lose it.
You are absolutely right about that. And what did you have any more questions before I get into this little rapid fire real quick?
No, you don't put me in the hot seat. I gotta. If some comes up before this ends, I'm gonna let you know.
Okay, I got you. But there's only like a couple of questions here because, as I said, we ain't gonna try to take up too much of your time. So a couple of hot seat questions. Top 3 R&B artists right now.
Ooh. Wow. All right. That is so hard. Top 3 currently. My girl Summer Walker, she's definitely up there. I think she's had the biggest impact with R&B in a while.
Okay.
This is me. My personal top 3 is
Yeah.
You know who Devon Culture is. He's an amazing artist. You need to go look him up. That's some real R&B. Like,
okay.
it's no auto-tune, no nothing. He's giving you straight Maxwell vibes. Like,
Say less.
And I listen to him all the time. Oh, see, I can't do a top 3 because there's Eric Bellinger as well. He's in my top for R&B.
You speaking? You speak facts? Okay. Respect. All right. Well, I was gonna say I ain't gonna put too much pressure on you because you said Eric Bellinger. I'll stop you right there so that you don't have to get too deep in your bag. But if you want to name somebody else, you can. But
because there's so many great artists. Like I really can't name a top 3 because I feel like I listen to everyone that's on my mind right now equally.
Okay. Well, let me ask this: what's the top 3 R&B albums of art of all time? Your personal favorites?
All time.
Yeah, and I'm talking albums, not artists, just albums.
Albums. Man, why are you doing this to me?
I told you it was hot seat.
Oh my gosh. Yo. I can choose 3.
Now,
Wait now.
Hey, I was gonna say we can circle back now.
Wait, okay, well. Okay, I'm gonna just go off the albums that I just play the most.
Okay.
So it's gonna be Brandy, Never Say Never.
Okay.
Round of applause for that one.
Yes.
Right. Yes. Emancipation of Mimi.
Okay.
These are not just all like, this is just my genre and like the genres I grew up on.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, I cannot. Cause I'm like, oh man, Carl Thomas, Music Soul Child, and can't forget about Baduizm. Man, I cannot choose three. And especially Michael Jackson.
Okay. Let's
That Off the Wall album. Oh my man, come on.
let's expand it then. Let's do 5 then. Let's do 5.
Let's don't even start the
Okay, I
conversation
said
about Michael
Brandy.
Jackson.
All right, we gonna go with Brandy.
Okay, so we said
okay.
Never Say Never. You said Emancipation of Mimi. So we got Brandy Mariah up there. Just give me 3 more.
All right, it's gonna be Michael Jackson, Off the Wall.
Okay. Respect. Mad respect.
I gotta give it to I'm gonna just Jill Scott, every single Jill Scott album. I can just put her in. I can't choose one Jill Scott. Jill Scott's one of my favorite singers in the world. So
hey, look, we love Jilly from Philly. So yeah.
Jill and who's taking that next spot?
Yeah, got one more.
You know what? I'm gonna go with Commissioned. I know who I'm talking about. Marvin Sapp.
Sure do.
Oh, okay.
Oh yes.
All right.
If you can see my face right now, okay. Wow.
Listen, that's a big inspiration for me. Big inspiration for me.
Man, yeah, okay. Yeah, you absolutely spitting. Wow. That man. Got me flustered. I was like, I did not expect for you to say Commission. I'm like, man, you taking me back to the days of Marvin Sapp and oh man, the one of the GOATs himself, Fred Hammond.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Thank you for
that.
that.
Take it back to gospel.
Yes.
That's where all the inspiration comes from.
Mm-hmm. Hey, shout out to that. All right.
Well, hold on now.
Oh, yeah.
I need you to name both of y'all top 5.
We talking albums or artists?
See, I'm gonna go easy on y'all and just do artists.
Okay. Let's see. If we stick into to R&B, I gotta say one of my favorites. I can't ignore Erykah Badu because Baduizm is definitely a strong one for me. There's obviously Michael Jackson. I don't care if you want to say if it's pop or R&B. Michael Jackson is definitely up there as well. He might be number 1. I'm not naming it in no particular order. Brandy, Vocal Bible.
Absolutely.
Yep. Whitney.
Oh.
Yep. Gotta say Whitney is up there. And then I'm gonna choose another male R&B artist. This one might be a little tricky for me because there are a lot of male R&B artists that I can go off of, but I think one of the albums that had such a major influence in my life, and it might be because my brother overplayed it in the car, but I still love it. I'm gonna say Donnell Jones.
Oh my gosh, of course. Yes. And he's still writing hits for Jacquees and he's still in the game.
Yeah, his pen game is strong. So I had to throw that out there because where I want to be is probably in my top 5 of R&B albums of all time. So all right. Sappy, what's your top 5?
Well, Lord knows I don't listen to anything from this decade. So we definitely have to go with number 1, Michael Jackson, because that is my favorite artist of all time. Of all time. Definitely following up with Phyllis Hyman, vocal Bibles learned from her. Okay. And the godmother herself, Aretha Franklin. Like,
yes.
What? You got to go with Prince.
Oh, yes.
Yep, you spitting.
Like, amazing. And I'm gonna say I think she's more jazz, but Esperanza Spalding. That's my girl.
Hey, I see you. Okay.
Yeah, you definitely hit every single nail on the head there, Sappy. Yes, ma'am.
I need your playlist.
Listen, follow me on Apple Music.
Okay.
All right. Let us go into, this is more of a yes or no kind of thing. New York drill or Chicago drill?
Chicago drill.
Bet. Favorite female hip hop artist?
Ooh. Right now?
It could be right now or all time.
Right now, I'm gonna have to go with Rhapsody. I listen to her on repeat all day, and it's a few others up there, but she's my number 1 fave.
Spitting
and unproblematic. I love it.
Yes, very unproblematic. Favorite male hip hop artist?
Kendrick.
Where is Johnny with this damn soundboard, man? I need gunshots right now. Let's go. Let's go. I'm about to edit that in. Okay, but yes. Yes, let's go. Let's go. All right. We in there. All right. Best hip hop album in the last 10 years for you?
10 years. I have 2.
Okay.
Of course, To Pimp a Butterfly. And one of my top 5 is The Game.
Okay.
That Born to Rap album.
Yeah, he did go stupid on that.
It was incredible to me, but
yeah.
Like I said, it's hard for me. Like, my brain be moving a mile a minute. I feel like somebody should be before that, but that's what's on my mind right now.
Hey, that's perfectly fine. Yeah, Born to Rap was definitely like that. Best hip hop album of all time, in your opinion?
All time. Yeah, kill me with this all-time stuff.
Hey, it's just your opinion. It's a lot of music out there, but you gotta ask.
All time, so many. I'm gonna have to go with Nasty Nas, Illmatic.
This is why we are friends. You absolutely spitting. That is, I can't think of any other album that changed the game the way Illmatic did. So that is definitely, if it's not the best, it's definitely top 2.
Yes.
So okay.
There's a slight debate for Enter the Woo. I'm just saying.
Look, Enter the Woo is definitely up there. It is definitely up there.
Yep. I'm with you on that.
Yeah. And here's one that you might enjoy. Oakland Raiders or Las Vegas Raiders?
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to go with. I don't know, the way they're playing right now. I'm gonna have to go with the Oakland Raiders.
Okay. And I had to ask. I'm like, yeah, she a big Raiders fan. Let me ask you this question real quick. I do want to visit that stadium one day. It looks really dope. So hopefully one day I'll get a chance to go out there to Las Vegas and pop my head in at Allegiant. But yeah, I feel you in that. All right. And then are there any basketball teams that you're following? It's okay if there's not, but I just wanted to ask randomly.
But I go where Kawhi goes, so I'm a Clippers fan.
Okay. Okay, respect. As long as you didn't say Lakers, I'm cool. Cause
yeah, I'm not a Lakers fan. Yeah.
No, I'm anybody. Well, I'm a Bulls fan, but I'm one of those people where I'm like, if the Lakers win, I'm going to be like, ugh. And then there are other teams that I kind of feel like if the Cavs win, I'm gonna feel a certain way. If the Bucks win, I'm gonna feel a certain way. So when they won, not this past season, but the season before, I was disappointed. I was like, man, I can't stand the Bucks. I like Giannis, but I just can't stand the Bucks because I'm a Bulls fan. I ain't gonna cheer for the opposition.
Right. But, right. No, I love basketball.
Yes. So, I think that's all the rapid fire questions that I had for you for the hot seat. Unless Sappy has any, or unless you have any for us, ALAINA.
Let's see. Well, what made you ask that question about the Chicago drill in New York?
It was honestly just kind of a random question, but I also thought about how I was coming up in college versus how I am now. Like when Chicago drill was getting traction, I was still in college. So obviously I liked Chicago drill, but then I'm hearing New York drill. I'm like, I can kind of get with it, but I don't know. Something just doesn't feel, I don't connect to it. And maybe it might be just my age showing, but I definitely just wanted to ask that just because it randomly popped in my head. And I'm like, I wonder how she feels about these two separate forms of hip hop that are kind of the same, but not the same.
Right. Okay. So you're a fan of Chicago drill?
Yeah.
Okay.
I will say lately, look, man, when I was still in college, when G Herbo was still going by a little herb, that was my guy. Like I would, anytime he dropped the tape, I'm popping it in. I'm listening to it right now on iTunes. So that was me. Okay. Any other questions?
Oh no, guys, that's it for me.
Sounds good. Well, ALAINA, once again, we appreciate you stopping by, coming through, talking about the album and what you got planned next. We definitely appreciate you, and we appreciate all of our Black artists, especially our Black women artists that are out here.
Absolutely.
We definitely wanted to show support, especially after I heard it. I was like, yeah, I gotta get you on the podcast, bro, because this is absolutely amazing. So with that, before we sign off, I do want to ask anybody if there are any new Black business highlights or Black entrepreneurs that they want to talk about real quick.
I don't have anything this time around.
Okay. ALAINA, are there any Black businesses that you want to highlight real fast, or any Black entrepreneurs that you want to highlight real fast?
The person I've been hyping up a lot is Moses West, and I don't know if anybody's heard of him, but he has this machine that takes like condensated water from the atmosphere and creates like gallons and gallons and gallons of fresh water at a time. And he travels to like Flint, Michigan. He's down in Louisiana. Like he just goes everywhere to help the communities who are affected by their water systems. And I think he is the coolest dude out right now because it's just like this technology should be everywhere, and he needs all the support he could get. And yeah, that's what I like to highlight.
I love that. Do you mind repeating his name one more time?
Yeah, his name is Moses West, and I think on Instagram it's Moses West Foundation.
I'm looking it up right now. Moses West Foundation. Okay, definitely found that. All right, we're checking this out. Okay, well, if there are no other new business highlights, we are going to go ahead and do the rundown. Now, clearly, not all of my co-hosts are here to do this rundown, so I'm going to have to take up my responsibilities again and do it with the exception of Sappy, who is going to continue to highlight our Black artists. And of course, Sappy, you know that you got to add one to that list now.
Of course, I won't forget.
Yes, ma'am. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and do our podcast shout out. So first and foremost, shout out to Mike Check, Waifu, Worst Generation Podcast, and Blanime Podcast. I am Patreon subscribers to these three anime podcasts. Please be sure that you subscribe to their Patreon and check them out as well. Worst Gen and Blanime are also a part of the Anime After Dark series, so please be sure that you check them out on Twitter every Thursday at 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Shout out to the Truth and Transparency Podcast with my boy Brother X, the culture scientist, and Mr. Smith. And shout out to Brother X. I actually saw you at homecoming, bro, but I could not get to you. But I saw you there, bro. So definitely shout out to you. Continue doing what you do and continue to have a great show on that podcast. Shout out to Inside of the Mind of a Blurred with, of course, my boy Steve and Rob J. The Session with Jay and Trey. Definitely shout out to y'all two kings over there. Brutal Honesty with Kay Renee whenever she decides to come back, but definitely check out her novellas under the pen name Sedona Rose, which is now available on Amazon Kindle. It's So Real with Raquel and Onaji. Definitely shout out to y'all. Continue to do the y'all podcast. The Altar Arc podcast with Moody Senpai. Definitely shout out to you. Continue to put in work. Dad Needs to Talk with Rob, the father of Vash. Definitely for your anime pleasure, definitely check that out as well. Shout out to the gang Analytical where shit get critical. Huey T Chronicles, definitely shout out to my boy Huey over there. Geek Sec Podcast. I'm gonna add one more. Anime Junkies, Three Weaves, and a podcast. Definitely shout out to Crystal Namax, aka Keisaki. I saw her at homecoming as well. We definitely had a good conversation, and also saw her brother Yo to the Noops. Had good conversation, and we're looking forward to eventually collaborating. And then, of course, to the Black Anime Podcast Network, to our boy Ash over across the pond there. He has built a network of Black Anime podcasts, so definitely check out all the podcasts that he has under blackanimepodcast.com. And definitely check out his anime podcast, which is Giant Shooty Robots, where he talks about mech anime. So for our Black content creators, of course, we got to give a shout out to our boy Aaron with Black Anime. Yo to the Noops, my good brother Evan with HBCU Anime. Sundari, shout out to my girl Ari, who's actually getting ready to leave the hellhole that is Florida. Shout out to the gang Cerberus Entertainment, a part of the Animanga conglomerate. That reminds me also, shout out to Shogo High. I am a part of the Shogo High Collective podcast that is hosted on Twitter every other Friday. So definitely check us out. We're actually going to have an episode, not this upcoming Friday, but next Friday. So if you are on Twitter, definitely check us out. Shout out to the gang, Tatted Poodle. Be sure that you follow her on Twitch streaming. Also as well, shout out to Kiana, aka the Geechee Gamer. Please be sure that you follow her as well on Twitch. To our fellow Hamptonian, Calvin Chambers. Definitely shout out to him and his series Icarus Metro Comics. Be sure that you check those out. Studio Maho with my boys Pat and Yin. They're growing the business, so definitely shout out to them. To one of our guests here that was on episode 1, Soul, aka Humble Southern Soul Brother. And also be sure that you shout out to the gang Hubtaku, who just added a friend of mine, Chris, to their ranks as well. So definitely shout out to Hubtaku. They're doing their thing over there. Sappy, if you can go ahead and do the rundown of Black artists.
Absolutely. So we're going to give a shout out to our girl who could not be here today, but NASA, make sure you check out her music. We got our friends Scoozy and Jack Union, Phil.me, Ellis Quinn, RJ Stackhouse, Quarter, Tyrone Leak Jr., Ari Lachelle. Make sure you check out her new song, Top of the World. It is phenomenal. Zach Hines of Fortresses. And of course, make sure you guys listen to ALAINA's new EP. It is phenomenal. If you haven't heard it by now, then you're slacking. For all we know, it has 3 songs and each one is absolutely amazing. So do yourself a service and listen to it.
Spitting.
Thank
Also,
you.
shout out to Zaynab as well. We gotta throw that in there.
Yes, and my good sister Zaynab, she has a new song out. If you like the Afro beats with a little sprinkle of Jesus, make sure you check out her music too. It's on all streaming platforms.
Hey. All right. And Law, do you want to go ahead and round us out with our Black business shout outs?
Yeah, Brody, I got you. Give me 1 second. Pull it up. All right, so we got Already Paid by Dre, FNRM Fresheners, Rich Minds by Timo, KSS Brand by Christina, Cream Cosmetics by Naima, Mind Over Money by Tremaine, Studio Maho by Pat and Yen, Daphne Benford Smith with Studio Maho and Creedon PLLC, Concept Moon by Strange Keith, She Designs 2 by Aaron, Black Magic / Lit Wands by Low and T, H4 Creative by Zenobia, Real Estate Stone, got it that time, by Meredith, and then Soul by Bell by Mariah.
All right. I appreciate that rundown, Law. Before we get up out of here, ALAINA, tell people how they can follow you on your socials and how they can listen to your music.
Okay, I'm on Instagram and Twitter. Also TikTok. Instagram is my name, ALAINA, ALAINA, period, 2 underscores. And it's the same on Twitter. Also on TikTok, it's alaina.av. Easy to find. I'm available on all streaming platforms. I mean, all of them. So just type in ALAINA. For all we know, I'll be the first thing and should be the only thing that pops up. So thanks everyone for listening and for all the support interviews. I love you all. Thank you for having me on your show and getting this exposure. I appreciate it so much. It really warms my heart. Like I've been smiling ear to ear the entire show.
Hey, you are absolutely welcome, and I still appreciate you even just gracing us with your presence here and being a part of this podcast. We want to be sure that we continue to support you and your music. So, of course, we're going to continue doing that from now until we decide not to do this podcast anymore, which I have no plans of stopping. But definitely shout out to the dogs. I heard them in the background.
Yeah, they're going crazy. They bark anytime somebody pulls up next door. Yeah.
Word. All right. Well, I think it's a good time to sign off. So, ladies and gentlemen, be sure that you like, share, and subscribe to the Chaotic Culture Podcast on your favorite DSP. Be sure that you subscribe to the Patreon for early access to the podcast and bonus episodes of the podcast as well. You can subscribe at any of the 4 levels listed. Once again, we appreciate your support. It doesn't matter which one you subscribe to. You can follow our Facebook page at Chaotic Culture Podcast. You can also follow us on Instagram at Chaotic Culture Pod and follow us on Twitter at Chaotic_Culture. You can follow me, Ked the Pro, that's K3D the Pro, on all social media. You can follow our co-host Nasa on all social media at _CallMeNasa. You can follow Law on Instagram at L.JR_96 and on Twitter at Law96_. You can follow Sappy on all social media at Scraps14, and you can follow Johnny at JLeeTrey on all social media, including TikTok. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been another edition of the Chaotic Culture Podcast. Once again, we thank ALAINA for coming through and gracing us with her presence. And until next time, folks, remember, embrace the culture, chaos rules. Be blessed, be safe, God is love. Deuces.
Why?
Look, it's chaos in these streets, so let's talk about it, please. Let's hold some conversation. You see where I'm coming from. Yes, it's so amazing. Go ahead, get comfortable. You can grab a seat, take a load
just live our lives over here. We ain't no angels, we just shine our light over here. We got the power, we just showing love over here. Cause everybody needs some, yeah. And we don't need a reason. Everybody needs some. And we don't need a reason, cause